All right, we live on it. Well, we live on the air, but this is a recording. So I like to say, or any of us probably like to say, we going live, but this is a recording. So this is the Dallas Cowboys universe episode. I think it's 2, so we're gonna go with 2. Episode 2. That us. Okay. I guess I'm just gonna talk about something personal before I get into the Dallas Cowboys. So, personally, about myself and what I'm doing, what I hope to achieve with this broadcast and the future broadcast that's coming and moving forward. So with YouTube, a lot of content creators aspire to become monetized, and that's where you have I think it's 4,000 watched hours by your viewers, and then you have 1,000 subscribers. So currently I'm like at 700 subscribers, and the watch time hours they fluctuate back and forth, but it's kind of like a carrot that's hanging over your head, and you just don't have the reach to get to that particular carrot. So the objective is to entertain the crowd, and for the crowd to be so entertained that they support you via donations through Facebook. Okay, now I've spent on Facebook ads to promote my YouTube. I spent probably like maybe $2,000 or so, but that's also with the eBay involved in that. So if I take out the eBay, I probably spent maybe $1,000 on Facebook ads trying to promote my YouTube, just the entertainment part of it alone. And so I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do a workaround here, because I can't keep chasing after the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I can't keep chasing that. So I'm gonna have to do it a little bit different. I'm going to, I'll continue to purchase the Facebook ads, but I'm going to do it where maybe the video pays for itself, or pays for the Facebook ads, thus in turn paying for itself. So here's how I'm going to work this. I'm going to put my Cash App and Venmo onto the YouTube page, and also put it in the link in the description, and thus when you, the viewers or audience, says, you know what, I would not only would I like to subscribe, I'd like to pitch in $1, $5, $20, $25, going once, going twice, $100 donation, and God bless you. So that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna put my payment information into the links, the description, whatever, and let it roll from there. And then that'll kind of equalize out what I spend as far as Facebook goes. So yeah, that's the objective, people. I'm transparent. I have nothing to hide. My objective is to entertain and to get paid as if I am a celebrity. So my name is Ugly, N.I. You know what the rest is? Hey, Ugly N.I. Hey, and that's the PG-13 or censored version of my name. I'm also an animator, so I do my Ugly N superhero character, and you can check that little video out what was done in regards to that. Support that. So let's now get into the business at hand. The Dallas Cowboys and what is up with them. Some of the suggestions that I have, and I'll say the biggest one is this: Trayvon Diggs is getting antsy. He is gambling for attention, and he almost cost us that game, the last game. Yeah, he almost cost us. Trayvon Diggs is a very talented, super talented player, obviously, and he's craving for attention. He almost cost us that Eagles game. Everybody's talking about Dak Prescott. Everybody's talking about everybody's talking about Dak Prescott. Everybody's talking about Noah Brown. Lightweight, maybe Turpin. Yeah, because he did fumble in the game. But Trayvon Diggs he was gambling on that Philadelphia game, and he almost lost it. That 14-point lead, that has to do with him and I think Turpin. I can't recall exactly, but most definitely the gambling of Trayvon Diggs showed up. He tries to use a tactic like Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders would make it seem like a receiver is open, but Deion Sanders had tremendous closing speed, and so quarterbacks paid for that. So I think by looking at it, looking at the replays, Trayvon Diggs is trying to do the same thing. He's trying to bait the quarterback into thinking something is there. But Diggs' range and speed is not the same as Deion Sanders. And I think he was testing the limits. He found out about it. He went to Twitter and he apologized to his team for his overt actions at gambling. And the team bailed him out. It was a harder job for Dak Prescott. It wouldn't even have to have been that hard a job had Trayvon Diggs just stayed in his customary role or played his role the way it was supposed to be played. So therefore, Dak Prescott actually bailed out Trayvon Diggs. A lot of casual Cowboy fans, they don't see that. They're focused on Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore, and it was actually Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore that dug out Trayvon Diggs and dug out the defense. The defense shouldn't be allowing the Dallas Cowboys shouldn't be scoring 40 points and then having to sweat it out. That's what a top-notch defense is for. And the defense that showed up against the Vikings is what we expect, the standard in which we expect the Cowboys to execute on that end of the football. Holding the Vikings to 3 points was the epitome of what this defense could be, should be, and always will be, leading through the playoffs, leading to the Super Bowl, leading to that Super Bowl victory. That's what we want. That's what we demand as Cowboy fans. So, I might show a clip of Diggs biting or Diggs trying to bait, but it didn't turn out good. So, yeah. This segment will be probably 40 minutes long. We're already close to 10 minutes into the segment. Stuff goes by fast, and I probably have a lot to say, and I'll probably go over. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this. Trayvon Diggs needs to have more time on the field and not necessarily 100% on the defensive side. They need to put Trayvon Diggs in at wide receiver for a couple of plays because Trayvon Diggs, actually with the football in his hand, is maybe more has a sense of the field more so than number 88. Yeah, I'm saying number 88 now. I forgot his name. CeeDee Lamb. Trayvon Diggs, I think, has better hands than CeeDee Lamb, obviously, for the interceptions that he had last season and the potential he has currently to track the ball and haul the ball in. His knack for doing that is better than the wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Am I lying? In the comment section, let me know. Am I lying? Trayvon Diggs' hands are better than CeeDee Lamb's. Now, I'll even say this. With the ball in CeeDee Lamb's hands or Trayvon Diggs' hands and getting the sense of the field, I think Trayvon Diggs has a better sense of the field, better sense of being elusive than CeeDee Lamb and Turpin. So this rolls back to what I was saying when I introduced this idea that Diggs needs to be just like how Jerry Jones treated Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was a talent that needed to be on the field, not just defensively, but in some offensive settings. And I think Diggs qualifies as that. Without a doubt, he qualifies as that. And that's not to say, well, let's just say just because of the speed aspect, I think Deion Sanders is better than Trayvon Diggs. But Trayvon Diggs is the closest thing to Deion Sanders. That's like the closest thing to Michael Jordan is Kobe Bryant. So that's kind of like how this looks and shapes out to be. You have Deion Sanders like a Michael Jordan type of thing, and then you have the closest thing or iteration of those all-time greats in Diggs and Kobe. So Diggs, he needs to be on the offensive side as a receiver and probably in the backfield as a runner at times, and then decoyed, but really a receiver. So now what's interesting is I think only one player probably has a more elusiveness once he has the ball is probably Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is the most elusive player with the ball in his hands. I believe Turpin can be that. I think Turpin has the skills and physical makeup built for being the most elusive player that the Dallas Cowboys have. He just doesn't, to me, and I'm not an expert, but to me he just doesn't have a feel for using his feet to move the defense to where he needs to move them and then explode in a certain angle or in a certain angle / direction. If he could use his feet like Emmett, Barry Sanders, I'm going way back with that. I need to be up a little bit more current with whom I'm talking about. So let's just say the Saints the Vikings running back. Forgot his name, but that guy, he uses his feet. He'll hit you 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, and then he's out. So yeah, Turpin probably needs to look at some other runners, and I'm probably sure he has, and he's looking at things he can do to improve. But he would be at the height of all of them, the most dangerous, the most elusive. And he's 5'9", and he can jitterbug through holes. If he only had the vision and the timing that was necessary to capitalize off of his speed, he would be super dangerous. So, yeah. All right, moving on to some Facebook funk that I've been having with people on Facebook. Um, yeah, yeah, I've been having a lot of Facebook funk, and I'd like to bring that to you, bring that to your attention, and then see what we can do, see what we can talk about in the comment section in regards to this, that, and the other. Okay, so let me look over here. Let me look over here real quick. Okay, I'm gonna dive into this one with Timothy Hampton and Scott Harrison and see where I was at the moment when I was talking with them. All right, Susan Thomas. She goes on to state, this was just an incredible play. Dak, you showed them today that you can throw the ball. You just need someone that can catch it. I responded to Susan Thompson. I said, Dak has always been able to throw. He threw 37 TDs in one season. That is a Cowboys record. And then, let's see what happens here. I guess I responded to somebody named Ricky D. Leon. Dak, one of the best deep throwers in the league. You only been a Cowboys fan for 5 years, my guy. I've been one longer than you've been alive. I think that guy must have erased his comment because my response to him was so poignant and it hit home, and he fled. So if he fled, that means he wasn't a true Cowboys fan. We got a lot of fakers out here trying to infiltrate our family. They're coming in, they're making disparaging comments, and they're not stating who their team is, you know. So they're trying to ensnare the weak-minded Cowboy contingents that we have. Those who disparage our quarterbacks, they disparage Cooper Rush, they disparage Dak Prescott, and they only seem supportive under certain situations. We're a winning team. What problems could you have with that? What problems could you have with the head coach? What problems could you have with the offensive coordinator? Now the defensive coordinator, I might have some problems with him. Dan Quinn? Okay, Dan Quinn. I might have some problems with you now. But, yeah, you got to shore some things up. Okay, so, back into this. Matt White on Facebook, he says to Susan Thompson, he can throw it, just not consistently to the same team. And I had to step in and take offense to that. I responded, quote, he can throw it, just not consistently to the same team, unquote. I said Dak's career TD INT numbers are way better than Troy Aikman's. Susan is a female, so she not gonna know football numbers. You a guy. I'm kind of surprised you don't have basic football knowledge. So I took a dig at him while taking a dig at her, because I dig and I does that. I dig it. You dig it? Okay. Matt White comes back. If you actually knew about football instead of running your mouth, you would know Emmitt Smith's success was due to the awesome offensive line the Cowboys had. Emmitt was great, but he would not have been top 5 without the O-line, especially Larry Allen and Daryl Johnston bulldozing away. Dak had an awesome offensive line, Murray and Zeke, Dez, Cooper, and Witten, and still hasn't been able to get past the divisional round. I want Dak to be successful as any Cowboys fan, but quit riding the dude's jock until he gets to the NFC Championship game. Well, okay. Now, first of all, you know, being a true Cowboys fan, y'all should know that that Dak Prescott didn't have the services of Murray. That was Tony Romo. And as far as Witten, Dak had Witten on the tail end of his career. And so he also had Dez kind of like on the tail end of his career. So that particular Dallas Cowboys makeup and formation, I don't think was conducive to seeing Dak winning any Super Bowls with that roster. Although, however, now this roster I think is the most talented across the board, and I think Dak can take them to the Super Bowl and win it. So here's my response to Matt White about Emmitt Smith and the line. I said Emmitt made that line. Why, when Emmitt held out for the first 2 games of the '92 season, the Cowboys went 0-2. Jerry Jones had to pay that man, and when Emmitt came back into Game 3, they went on to win the Super Bowl. Only person missing was Emmitt, and Troy couldn't get a win. Lost to Buffalo and lost to the Cardinals. Jones had to cave in to Emmitt's demands. Bro, you know nothing about football. So here goes. Now these comments are kind of like out of turn too. So I'm just reading them, but they're not in order as they should be. I don't know how to get them in order. Okay, so here's his response. Corey Dwayne Ellis, you just lost any credibility trying to compare Dak's numbers to Troy Aikman. Dak couldn't carry Troy Aikman's jock on Troy's worst day. Talk to me about Dak when he actually leads Dallas to an NFC Championship game. And then someone came in to correct me, and I'm going to give him props. Dwayne Ellis lost opening night to the Redskins and then the home opener to Buffalo. And I'm going to say, I'm going to give him a thanks for the correction. I was guessing at the time. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, alright. Thanks, Roland Skull. So anyway, my response to Matt White about Troy Aikman on his worst days was this. To Matt White, if you knew about football, it was Emmitt Smith who fueled those Super Bowl runs, not Troy Aikman. Aikman's career stats: 165 TDs, 141 INTs, 11 years, versus Prescott, 163 TDs, 62 INTs, 7 years. Troy threw 79 more INTs than Prescott during the regular season and only 2 more TDs. Bruh, you can't be that dumb. Dak matched Aikman's TD total in 4 fewer years / seasons. Prescott's worst season so far is this one. 20 TDs, 14 INTs. But he has the Cowboys in the playoffs with at least an 11-6 record. Could be 12-5, could be 13-6, or excuse me, probably 13-5, 14-4, yeah, 14-4. Troy's official stats in 1989: 9 TDs, 18 INTs. In 1990, he had 11 TDs, 18 INTs. In 1994, he had 13 TDs, 13 TDs, 12 INTs. And all Troy had to do was hand it off to Emmitt Smith and pass to Michael Irvin. But he got all them passing turnovers. Do your research, bro. And from there, that was a one day. one day. I don't think he responded to that. Yeah, I don't think he responded to that one. And hey, Troy Aikman is, to me, the greatest Dallas Cowboys quarterback ever. He came in and exercised. He removed the demon that had been haunting me for 10 years when Joe Montana threw that touchdown pass to Dwight Clark in the Super Bowl. I think the championship, NFC championship, over, I think it was Everson Walls. And I hated the 49ers with a passion, their success, their rise to glory, and then all of a sudden came this guy, Troy Aikman, from the heavens. And he came and he exercised all those demons and put us back on the map. So yeah, Troy Aikman is the greatest Dallas Cowboys quarterback I have ever seen. But with that said, he's not the most productive quarterback I've ever seen, or the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. He actually, and I'm gonna say this: if you put Tony Romo or Dak Prescott on the same team or in place of Troy Aikman, then they win the same amount of games. They win the Super Bowl against the same opponents, because the Buffalo Bills, which Troy Aikman beat twice, the opposing quarterback was Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly is nowhere near Tony Romo or Dak Prescott. Talent-wise, it is not even close. So if you give either of those two quarterbacks, Michael Irvin, Alvin Harper, and the number maybe 1 to 5 defense at that time when they were winning those Super Bowls, you have the same result. You probably have more yards. I don't know. I don't know about. Well, you might have more yards throwing in the air with maybe Romo, with Dak coming in second, and then Troy Aikman maybe coming in third. But talent-wise, Troy he couldn't stack up with Dak and Romo. And then if you add the element, the fact that Dak Prescott, his rushing TDs are tied with Roger Staubach, and he did that in 4 fewer years than Roger Staubach. But now there's a caveat to that too. Roger Staubach's career started 3 years later as, I guess, the starter. So basically him and Dak, for the time that they did get those 100 rushing TDs, was in the same time span. So that tells you that Dak Prescott is as talented as Roger Staubach was in comparison to them being runners. And then Dak Prescott is more conservative with turnovers than Troy Aikman ever was. Troy Aikman got a plethora of INTs. Tony Romo has a number of INTs, but his total TDs are like, they blow Troy Aikman out the water. And don't say it's this is an era thing, because it's not. Because you had Dan Marino chucking that ball and all that stuff, and those rules were there. Jeff George, they were all more prolific than Troy Aikman. But once again, Troy Aikman is the greatest quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys I ever saw, because of his end results. And now I think Dak has the opportunity with this defense, if the defense shuts down the run. That's been the Achilles heel. If the defense shuts down the run, then it's over with. Dak Prescott will win the Super Bowl. Also, if Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard come to the party and show up and show out, along with Dallas concentrating on stopping the run, Dallas is winning the Super Bowl. Because now you have the element of Dak Prescott also running. And you seen he getting a little bit looser here and there. So he's about to be part of that running game. And once that offensive monster starts rolling on you like that, then the tight end becomes super relevant, but and has been. Dalton Schultz has been our Travis Kelce. CeeDee Lamb is a number one receiver. He has stepped up, and he is who he is, a number one receiver. Yeah. So this is it. This is our year. I'm here with the bullhorn. Let's get into something else. Let's see if we can find some more conversation on Facebook and see what happens here or there. Okay, Kellen Moore, Duke Carter says Kellen Moore has to go if we don't win it this year. And I respond to Duke Carter. I say, you're not smart. Dan Quinn's defense is the problem. Kellen Moore has the number one scoring offense, and it might be number 3. But when is the last time Dallas scored 21 points? And I guess I can answer my own question. They did. Well, I said 21 points. So, yeah, Dallas's offense is clicking. It's clicking. Ron Russell says, Corey Dwayne Ellis, the defense isn't great, offense inconsistent. I respond to Ron Russell. I said Don Russell, I probably did. But anyway, I responded to Ron Russell. Offense is consistent enough to score 30 points or more. I also said to Ron Russell, out of 15 games, give me the games where they scored nothing. Ron Russell, they score in bunches or nothing. Oh, he said they score in bunches or nothing. And then I responded, out of 15 games, give me the games where they scored nothing. And then he responded by saying quarters. And I'm going to respond, the game is summed up by all quarters. So nitpicking one here or there means nothing. Okay. 30 plus points at the end of the game. Okay. So Don Carter comes in and says, you can't go by stats. This is on a separate, I guess a separate thread. Don Carter told me, let me see if I can find out where it originated from. Okay. Anyway, Don Carter says, you can't go by stats. How many turnovers does the defense get in the opponent's side of the field? The offense was moving on the Eagles, and he trying to call trick plays. We were up against the Packers and Jags and still wants to pass the ball. Super Bowl teams don't make these mistakes. He will cost us in the playoffs. Quinn has improved our defense a lot. He is still missing pieces. We need defensive tackle and cornerback number 2. And then so I respond, Duke Carter. How well did Quinn's defense do with a 21-point lead in the Super Bowl when he was Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator. I know you're not bright, but I'll wait to see if you even know what I'm talking about. Someone please help this man out. And to which he never responded. So I gotta come at these people, man, because sometimes, man, they just be like really tripping, and I had to give it to him. So yeah, that was one day ago. He never came back. Let's go into. Did I ever respond to this dude? No, I don't think I ever responded to him. That's too much. Too much talking. Oh, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. Sorry about that. I should have said that in the beginning of the program. Also, hey, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and get into those comment sections and talk about it. Let's be about it. Bring up some other situations that we need to discuss. Also, my my Cash App, my Venmo, that's attached to 510-755-5518. That's 510-755-5518. And what I'm trying to do is subsidize what I spend on Facebook, the ads, the amount of money I spend on Facebook, and use this particular section or portion to advertise ways in which you can support the channel. So let's just say figuratively, I get $100 in support this day. Let's just say figuratively. Let's just say that did happen. Well, of course, it gives me the opportunity to continue pushing through with the Facebook ads and attracting more attention and create more revenue. YouTube has those guidelines for the monetization, so I'm trying to circumvent that, make it happen. I'm trying to hustle around the hustle. Let's see what else we got here. Anyone else that commented on Facebook that I had to kind of get a little bit salty with and shut him down? Shut him down. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. It's early in the morning. I'm sitting here trying to make it happen. Okay, let's go with I'm gonna go back to my bell notification and get more exact something. Let's see. Let's go with Craig Stevens, where I had a conversation with him. Let's see what he was talking about at that time. Okay. So Andy Gonzalez. He says Dak haters incoming, especially from our own fan base. 27-6 against the NFC East in his career. Congrats on another huge win. Still more to go. So, Lawrence comes in on cue and says 27-6 sounds more like the years since our last Super Bowl and playoff appearance since then. So, Benjamin C. Thomas, how many playoff games with that record? Just curious. And then Andy comes in. Let's see, was it Andy? Andy Turpinning comes in. Andy, right. I mean, who cares about a Super Bowl as long as we're winning our division? Oh, that was a low one. That was a cold shot. To which Benjamin C. Thomas responds to Don Wayne, you are so correct, but if we cheered for any of those teams, we would expect those quarterbacks to do what they are paid for, to get a sniff of going to a Super Bowl. And then furthermore, he says, the buck starts and stops with the quarterback. If you have a Ray Lewis leading your defense, you can have a bum at quarterback, but our defense gives up basketball points. Celeste, so blessed, Kalaman. Andy Gonzalez, thank you. I swear so-called Cowboys fans get on my last nerve. And then Nathan Pfeiffer, 33-29 versus the rest of the league. Brandon Allen Lewis. Andy Gonzalez, still 1-3 in playoffs and being on his 7th season. 12 INTs in 10 games. Stats are something, ain't they? And then Dan Cowell. Chance Brown, what about the 124 QB rating, 350 yards, and 3 tutties? Andy Gonzalez to Brandon Allen Lewis. The stats that matter for a quarterback is not necessarily wins and losses. That is much more of a team stat. His accuracy and overall QBR numbers when he plays is better stat to judge a QB and go ahead. Look at some of those numbers. You'll see he's near the top in most of them. More importantly, he's clutch. His career is just getting started. Dan Cowell responding to Chance Brown. Sure, it happens. What was his QBR rating again? And how many TDs? What about the yards he had? Pretty solid game, don't you think? Dan Cowell to Brandon Allen Lewis. Actually, most of the INTs are on the receiver. Did you see how many he threw a perfect ball to Brown and it bounced right out of his hands? Look up the replay if you don't believe me. Then get back to us. Dan Cowell to Chance Brown. Did you actually see the replay? He hit Brown right in the hands. That is completely on Brown. 124 QBR rating against the Eagles. They still going on. Sure, he's the only QB to throw an INT. It happens. The Cowboys scored 34 points. Defense got torched. We should be more concerned about that, wouldn't you think? And then Dan Cowell also gives it to Brandon Allen Lewis. It's a team game. Dallas is in the playoffs. Game last year set a record for penalties in a game, which Dak made none of those. More to it than the quarterback. Thought everyone should realize that by now. And Dan Cowell to Brandon Allen Lewis. Sure, whatever you say. 124 QBR rating, 3 TDs, and over 350 yards. But okay, whatever you say. Aren't the Cowboys the highest scoring team since his return? Okay, now Dan Cowell also breaks it down and says Brandon Allen Lewis. So it's all on him. Defense, special teams, or coaches are held accountable. Give me a break. Just stop already. Ruben Castro to Brandon Allen Lewis. Exactly. He's not getting any vote from me until he wins a Super Bowl. Then I'll give him all the votes he deserves. But all those stats don't mean a thing without a Super Bowl win. Chance Brown to Dan Cowell. Yep, that's the one. The same one that he threw this INT in and the Jaguars scored off of it. Chance Brown, Dan Cowell. I'm talking about the first INT against the Jags. Completely off target and overthrew the tight end by 6 to 8 feet. Chance Brown to Dan Cowell. What about the pick six or the first INT of last week's game? Whew. Cowboy fans is all over the place, man. All over the place. I love Dak. I hate Dak. I mean, wow. And we've reached the playoffs, and Dak wasn't even present for the first 5 games. So let's do like this. Let's do an overall overview of this. Dak Prescott plays the first game, gets injured. The Cowboys' future is in serious doubt because of the productivity of the first game. Looks so abysmal. Cooper Rush comes in and does a hell of a job. I mean, a hell of a job. And this is credited to Jerry Jones, who didn't pulled the trigger on getting another quarterback. He trusted Cooper Rush. He was the only one that trusted Cooper Rush. And Jerry Jones is looking like a genius. Kellen Moore is looking like a genius because he was the offensive coordinator through all that, through Cooper Rush being on the field. The head coach is a genius because he had to manage the overall thing without his star quarterback. So please, let's just give credit where credit is due to Jerry Jones, to Mike McCarthy, and to Kellen Moore for weathering that storm. Now, Dak Prescott comes back, and okay, now he's off of injury, and he is probably not where he's supposed to be, but Dak Prescott battles through the first game where he was whatever, and then once again Dak Prescott guides the Dallas Cowboys to the top 3 offensive scoring unit in the NFL. So let's give Dak Prescott his praise. Now, the 50-50 praise, I think, is with Dan Quinn. Yes, Dan Quinn has shut down the Vikings, but Dan Quinn's defense has been questionable and susceptible and maybe even predictable. But it has at times been incredible and despicable. Ooh, that's ridiculousness on the freestyle. So, yeah. I'm going to sum this up because we have 46 minutes going on 47 minutes. This your boy Ugly N.I. Ugly N. You know, Ugly N.I. Hey! And that's me. And you can support the channel by either going to Venmo or Cash App and putting in the phone number 510-755-5518. That's 510-755-5518. Cash App or Venmo. And we're trying to get $100 on this video. I'm trying to do $100 every video. So I need your support. Be a sport. Hey, we play on the same court. We take no shorts. We from the same fort. Dallas Cowboys, baby. And I'm out to the next episode.